All right, what's happening, YouTube? I want to talk about something that a lot of men don't realize is probably the biggest problem with the lopsidedness of dating today. Now, some men are just too young to have caught this transition because this was already happening before they were born or when they were too young to really start comprehending. Or a lot of guys I've noticed are a little bit older than me and they're just out of touch and never really saw the progression of this until it was kind of too late. So I'm going to blame, I think the birth of this was Sir Mix-a-Lot. Like Big Butts and I Cannot Lie, you know, the comical little song there that took off when it did. If you guys notice right now, one of the biggest discrepancies, like societally, through the lens of what societal norms are in the West specifically, the window in which most people consider like a hot chick, the window of that has broadened so much because of the acceptance of overweight women, like thick women. Now let me stop right there and say, I'm not going to be too hard line on what you should like. I've dated thicker women that carry it well, and our sexual chemistry was amazing. So it's like, I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't find attractive here, because in my opinion, some women look better, more thin and athletic. And I've seen some women that actually are thicker and carry it well, and they rock that look well. So this isn't the video to debate that necessarily. What I'm saying though is, societally, the window has opened so much in what we all deem to be like a hot chick. Honestly, on paper, if you look at the facts, I would say, and this might offend some people, but I would say safely, from what I see, 80% of the women in everyday life that I see are just severely overweight and should not be technically considered like a hot chick, a bad chick. No, they're severely overweight, but so much of society still deems women, no matter how they look, as like hot, top tier woman, bad bitch, you know. Simultaneously, the window for what people consider high value or hot or top tier for men has shrunk. It has shrunk so much that now you see women out here saying, at least 6'2". It's not even 6 foot anymore. You see women saying, you better be at least 6'2". You better make at least 250. And I've heard some women say 500,000 a year. You better drive this specific car. You better own a yacht. I've seen girls, and I think a lot of them are just being like diabolically, you know, funny and offensive to men, just being triggering and half joking. But I think a lot of them are not joking. I think a lot of girls out here, because of this window of acceptance in how many women now officially fall into this top tier woman, you're a hot chick too, you look like a bad bitch too, when they're not. And then how small the window has shrunk of what everyone's considering a top tier man. Even in the fitness industry, bro, you see so many men that have incredible physiques. I saw Greg Doucette on, I think it was like a Fresh and Fit podcast or something. There was girls calling Greg Doucette a dad. They said he had a dad bod. Greg Doucette is a professional bodybuilder that still has a top 1% physique in the world. They said he had a dad bod. That is delusion, bro. I've seen women in these street interviews, they show Chris Bumstead and the girls say, he's okay, he's a 5, he's a 4, he's got a dad bod. Chris Bumstead is like the top 1% man universally. Like, this is insane. Yet all these women, like even in the fitness industry, that are like posting videos, doing squats or, you know, stiff leg deadlifts. These women are obese and they're still getting hundreds, if not thousands of likes, hundreds, if not thousands of comments of admiration and worship and how amazing they are. Yet men, I've seen guys comment on Alex Eubanks' photos saying, you're small, you have a horrible physique. Like, bro, the shift in our society that's affected dating the most is that shift of, again, I'll kind of say hip hop culture that's embraced more obese women, overweight women. I'm not even really judging on what you think of that because, again, I've seen thick women that look great and carry it well. I'm just saying, everybody knows what fit looks like. Everybody knows that it's very hard to be fit and it's very easy to be obese. For some reason, we have accepted very low standards for women and idolize them now and embrace them to where that window of what a top tier woman has just grown so much that every woman is being told that she's top tier. And the window for what we consider top tier on men has shrunken so small that most decent men are looked at as zeros, ones. And you got women calling Chris Bumstead and Greg Doucette 3s and 4s or dad bods. That is crazy. Like that is like legitimately on paper insanity. And that's what we're dealing with today. This perception of greatness that has changed so much in my lifetime that the numbers are lopsided, the dating aspects are just lopsided, the people that you have an opportunity to date are just lopsided. And again, I'm not even trying to bash women so much here, but most women today, in fact, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this might be controversial. I think more women today are super below average compared to men. And I see a lot of men that are out of shape, and I'll address that in another video, that just don't carry themselves well, but most women don't either. Most women out here are super obese. They look okay even with pounds of makeup on, yet they think they are so top tier that they would have to sleep on it and consider dating Chris Bumstead or Greg Doucette, who's got a bazillion dollars and a top 1% physique in the world. These overweight women that have nothing going for them, multiple baby daddies, 200,000 miles between their legs, those women still think they are top 1% because we have just we've broadened the horizons and moved the goalposts so much to let all these women in on what's so desirable and amazing and top tier, while simultaneously shrinking the window of what we consider top tier for men so much that literally nobody is in that category anymore. And it's ever changing, right? Like even in the last 5 years, I've seen women's standards go from like 6 foot tall, 100,000 a year. There's so many of them now saying 6'2", 250,000 a year, 500,000 a year, or even like without even height and stuff. They still just they want you to be so like top 1% to even be considered to date. And again, women will lose with this. They make no mistake. Most women you see today, these 20-something-year-olds, they're out here living it up, walking and talking like they rule the world. They're going to be so miserable in the future. So miserable. And, no men are going to want to date them, let alone the ones that they think they're entitled to. So that window, I think, is something a lot of people need to pay attention to. And shout out to my friend Spiro. We had this conversation yesterday that triggered this thought process. But that window of acceptance of what we consider to be desirable in women now has opened so much to where everyone thinks they're a bad bitch. And the window for what we as a society can consider great in men has shrunken so much in every way, financially, physical looks in themselves, fitness level, all of it. It is crazy, bro.